This is your Daily News. Senator Marco Rubio is complaining that the child tax credit payments bring America one step closer to universal basic income. The Democrats are calling Rubio a hypocrite, and I'll let you know why. The jobs report for the month of August is going to be released this upcoming Friday morning. The report is going to affect the Federal Reserve's decisions on when to reduce the money printing and when to raise interest rates. The federal government is expected to run out of money as early as October. The Republicans are blaming it on the Democrats and pledging not to raise the debt ceiling. The Democrats are blaming it on the Republicans, and I'll let you know what they're both saying. All U.S. soldiers have now left Afghanistan. Jen Psaki says there's still a small number of Americans remaining in Afghanistan. President Biden declared a federal emergency disaster declaration for Louisiana and Mississippi after Hurricane Ida. Search and rescue missions started on Monday. America is now averaging 155,000 new cases a day. I'm going to provide you with the most recent data and developments. This is your news, and I hope you're having a very nice day. Please let me know your thoughts about universal basic income because multiple senators are bringing it up and complaining about it. Senator Marco Rubio is saying that America is getting one step closer to universal basic income. Rubio said the Biden administration's child tax credit payments are wealth redistribution. It's the first step towards universal basic income because it does not require you to work. Rubio said, for example, over the next 6 months, some American households with no working adults will receive more than $6,000 in cash payments from the federal government. But the Democrats responded by saying that the intention of the program is not universal basic income. They're saying that the expansion of the child tax credit payments is intended to reduce child poverty. The child tax credit payments were supposed to be a one-time program for the year 2021. But the Human Infrastructure Bill is going to extend the child tax credit payments for a few more years. The details are not final, but it's expected to be extended until the year 2025. However, a group of Democrats are trying to make the child tax credit payments permanent. The Democrats are calling Senator Rubio a hypocrite because he voted to expand the child tax credit when Trump was in office. However, Rubio responded by saying that's different because he supports the child tax credit if there's a requirement that the parents must work. Rubio says the Democrats are taking it too far by extending the program and trying to make it permanent. We're waiting on a very important economic report this Friday. The jobs report for the month of August will be released Friday, September 3rd. This report is going to greatly affect the actions of the Federal Reserve's monetary policy for America. This is going to affect how much money is being printed and when interest rates will increase. Once the Federal Reserve believes that the labor market has improved enough, they're going to start printing less money and raise interest rates. That would hurt the economy, so the Federal Reserve is waiting to see if the labor market is strong enough to deal with those negative effects. In July, America gained 943,000 jobs and the unemployment rate was at 5.4%. Economists are predicting that 756,000 jobs will be added in August and the unemployment rate will fall to 5.2%. Economists are saying that if we get a strong jobs report for August, then the Federal Reserve will be forced to decrease the money printing in 2021 and raise interest rates in 2022. The jobs report is going to be released on Friday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. In political news, the federal government is running out of money. The federal government makes money by taxing people. The federal government spends more money than they bring in. They pay for the difference by going further into debt. There's a maximum amount of debts that the federal government is authorized to take on. This is known as the debt ceiling, and we hit that amount. The politicians need to increase that authorized amount. If not, America will not be allowed to borrow more money, and then they're going to run out of money. The federal government is currently in debt for $29 trillion. The federal government owes this money to foreign countries, high net worth individuals, pension funds, big banks, corporations, and everyday investors. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that the federal government will run out of money as early as October. More than 100 Republicans in the House of Representatives signed the letter on Monday, promising not to increase the debt ceiling under any circumstance. 46 Republicans in the Senate signed the letter, pledging that they're not going to raise the debt ceiling either. The Republicans are saying that the Democrats should increase the debt ceiling by themselves, which they can, and take full responsibility of the consequences. The Republicans are saying that the Democrats are spending too much money and driving our country deeper into debts. The letter that was signed by 100 Republican House members says Democrats have embarked on a massive deficit spending spree. Without a single Republican vote, they passed the $1.9 trillion stimulus package in March. Now, they passed a $3.5 trillion budget resolution without a single Republican vote. The letter also says, in order for the spending to occur, our nation's debt limit will have to be increased significantly. Because Democrats are responsible for the spending, they need to take the responsibility for increasing the debt ceiling. Republican Congressman Hearn said, "We want to make it absolutely clear that the Democrats alone are responsible for this." But the Democrats responded by saying that the Republicans are incorrect and dishonest. The Democrats said, a lot of the spending programs that increased our debt was conducted under the Trump administration. So we'll see what happens, but believe it or not, if the politicians do not act, then the federal government will run out of money in about a month. In international news, the last US military plane has left Afghanistan. Since August 14th, 122,000 people have been evacuated. General McKinsey said on Monday, not everyone who wanted to get out got out. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said, "We believe there's still a small number of Americans remaining in Afghanistan." Psaki said they're working to determine precisely how many Americans are remaining, and they're reaching out to them by phone and text messages. Psaki says that the White House will give a precise number as soon as possible. Today, President Biden will be addressing the nation on Afghanistan. In current events, Hurricane Ida passed through Louisiana. Search and rescue missions started on Monday. President Biden declared a federal emergency disaster declaration for Louisiana and Mississippi. President Biden spoke about Hurricane Ida on Monday. Biden said, "We know Hurricane Ida had the potential to cause massive damage, and that's exactly what we saw." Biden said more than 5,000 members of the National Guard have been activated to help with search and rescue missions. Biden urged people in affected areas to shelter in place if it's safe for you to do so and assume that help is on the way. Response teams were on standby in the area with 2.5 million meals, 3 million liters of water, generators, and other supplies. An additional 100 ambulances and emergency medical teams have been activated to work with local response teams. President Biden said, "We're going to do all that we can to minimize the amount of time that it's going to take to get power back up for everyone in the region. We're going to put the country's full might behind the rescue recovery, and I mean that. We're going to stand with you and the people of the Gulf as long as it takes for you to recover." In America, we are now averaging 155,000 new cases a day. Hospitalizations are also on the rise, and many hospitals, especially in the South, are reporting oxygen shortages. Mary Mayhew, the president of the Florida Hospital Association, said, "Hospitals are using 3 to 4 times the amount of oxygen that they would normally use." On Monday, data from the CDC shows that the hospitalization rate is 16 times greater in people compared to people. Since the school year began, more children are getting infected and hospitalized. Currently, there's no approved by the FDA for young children. The Pfizer was FDA approved for people 16 and up. That is still under emergency use authorization for children ages 12 to 15 years old. Drug manufacturers are in the process of submitting their FDA approval applications for 12 to 15-year-olds. Pfizer is working on their application request for FDA approval in children ages 5 to 11. Pfizer is also working on submitting data to the FDA to get approval for their third booster shots. They plan on submitting their data to the FDA by late September or early October. And I wanted to end by bringing this news to your attention. Hurricane Ida forced gas refineries and oil producers to temporarily shut down operation. The U.S. Bureau of Safety says 96% of oil production in the Gulf of Mexico was halted. This is expected to increase gasoline prices. The head of petroleum analysis at GasBuddy says that gasoline prices will increase by 5 to 15 cents per gallon, but we won't see that increase for another 2 weeks. On Monday, according to AAA, the national average for a gallon of gasoline was at $3.15. Gasoline prices have been falling for 3 weeks, but that trend will now be broken. That's the news for today. If you enjoyed today's report, please be sure to subscribe. I thank you so much for your support, and I wish you a very nice day.